Hello, Fast Lego Studios here, and welcome to the 7th week of building the Lego life-sized Spider-Man sculpture. And here we are, guys, on week 7 of this project. We began all the way on week 1 down there, and just built our way up casually all the way up to the top here, which is week 7 here. And in this episode, what I'm hoping to do is get a lot more height going up here, as well as expand the sides out a lot more, and as well get the Spider-Man emblem on the back and the front of him. Just kind of get that Spider-Man-esque kind of look there. Apart from that, what we have been doing in the last couple of episodes as well is in week 4, we finished off building Spider-Man's head. I've been doing a little bit of tweaking here and there between it to kind of get the more correct kind of look there, a bit more round and so on and so forth. But for the main part, that's what it's going to be looking like on the top of the sculpture. But that was week 4. If you want to go and check that out, there'll be a card in the upper right corner of your screen right now. Taking a look at the hand of Spider-Man here, I postponed building the rest of Spider-Man's arm here because I want to get the webbing pattern kind of traced into the shoulder of Spider-Man to kind of get that smooth effect of the web pattern just kind of flowing into it. And if not to mention here, this model is using no glue and no armatures whatsoever, so it's more of a Lego clutch power based build. But with that being said, let's begin building. Alright guys, and here we are with the first update here. You see that I've basically assembled the emblem of Spider-Man that's supposed to be going on the back here. What I'm hoping to do with this is basically make a second copy of this, so I can then attach it to the rest of the Spider-Man's back there, and just kind of integrate it from there and see where it really takes me there. But with that being said, let's continue building Spider-Man. Alright guys, and here we are with the second update of the week here. And as you notice here, what I've basically done is I've added in a couple more webbing lines going right here and right here. As well as what I did was I began building the layout for this area here and here of the Spider-Man emblem on the back of him. You can see this is his foot here and the other one there. And here's the body of the spider right there. Apart from that there, what I'm about to do as well is build a strut from here to here and from here to here. And if you guys don't know what a strut is, it looks something about like that in there. You can see it's basically a connector beam that supports the model from collapsing in any way possible. But with that being said guys, what I as well did was I made the model curve more backwards here than forwards, because the model essentially right now is curving way too much this way and is really putting a lot of force this way and not enough that way, so the center of gravity is kind of off there. So what I'm going to be doing now is kind of naturally kind of curving it back and up. Basically that's the plan for right now. But with that being said guys, let's begin the time lapse. Alright guys, and here we are. This is our second speed build of the series, and as you can see here I'm making some first-hand decisions to where some of the Lego bricks should be going to create the most structure and stability possible out of what Lego bricks can do. Considering the fact that I'm using no glue or armatures whatsoever, so it's really based upon clutch power and the power of Legos to construct a life-sized Lego sculpture here. And at this point in time, what basically happened was it fell over as I was building. The ankles of the sculpture were way too thin and it just did not hold the entire weight of it. Lego brick clutch power just could not hold it because there's so much weight going into one direction and not enough in the other. So basically the sculpture just gave up and started falling. Luckily I caught it as it fell, so that wasn't a big issue there. I then leaned it up against the wall, then got a plan of what I wanted to do with it. And basically what my plan was essentially was to take apart the Lego sculpture from the calf below. So that meant basically a complete destruction of week 1 and 2 to get into the model and do whatever I needed to support the construction and make it a lot more solid than it was before. So with that being said, that's exactly what I did. I took it apart completely, and here's a picture of how that looked. You can see there's quite a lot of destruction in there. But apart from that there, it slid apart quite nicely on how the model kind of went apart to get into the model and do whatever reconstruction I needed to. So I made a Lego lift arm exoskeleton into the inside of the model here to to kind of construct a much more solid construction within a very thin part of the ankles where it kept on breaking. So once everything was in place of how the model kind of stabilized itself to the ankles and everything, here's a picture on how that looked with the Lego Technic beams put into the Lego construction here. But once that was all in place, it really wasn't too much of a problem from there. And by that point in time, what I basically did was I had to build everything together, and then what I noticed was the model there was two different Lego exoskeleton beams in the inside of it instead of one continuous one, so I basically had to go and take it apart again to rebuild it, and that happened actually multiple times. I don't even know how that happened, but it did. But after a lot of rebuilding, I finally got a result that I was happy with. And with that being said, guys, let's return back to the video here. Alright guys, and here we are with the progress update after the speed build here, and as you notice right off the top, I've added on a little bit more height to the model with some more bricks and as well some plates to make out the webbing pattern. Not only that, I've expanded the sides of the red out a lot more, and I expanded upon the spider emblem on the back of him, as you can see there, with having a lot more plates there to kind of make the fine down legs there of the spider on the back. But the most important thing is here is that I've swapped out the bricks for plates on the bottom of the legs here. You notice that I've added on plates, and as well as I added in a Technic lift arm structure into the inside of this model, so I can have a lot more support and make this model not keep on falling, which is very important. But with that being said, guys, there's a lot more detail on the back of how the structure was made here. So without further ado, let's move on to that area. Alright guys, taking a look around the back of Spider-Man here, you notice the Spider-Man emblem right there and how the pattern just kind of goes up and out, just as right you can see there. Apart from that there, as you remember earlier, I was talking about a Lego Technic Exoskeleton, and taking a look on how that looks there, what I have here is the ankles where it kept on breaking, and it was the thinnest area, so most weight, thinnest area really, it doesn't make a good combination. So I had to stabilize it in some way possible. So I came up with this Lego Technic Exoskeleton in here that basically stabilizes the model from falling forward. So as you can see from all the way down here, there's Technic lift arm just going up and connects to another one until it reaches all the top over here, which is the end of the red area. Apart from that there, that's really how the model just kind of connects its way together, and is somewhat dense in the inside to get a full on kind of connection between the areas, considering that I'm using no glue or armatures whatsoever while I'm constructing this massive Lego sculpture, as you can see here. But with that being said, guys, let's move on to the next update here. Alright guys, taking a look at some of the progress that I've made so far. Notice that I didn't really get too much progress in terms of height, but more in terms of design here. What I've been working on here is the design of the logo for the Spider-Man here, the emblem. And what I've done is basically made a template of what I want it to look like here. I'm going for the more retro comic iteration of Spider-Man here, so that's the logo that I have here. And so far it turned out pretty nice, maybe doing a little bit of modifications here and there between on how I want it to look like. That's really the progress that I've made here. Just hoping to kind of integrate this logo as I go on higher and higher. But with that being said, guys, let's move on to the next update here. Alright guys, and here we are with the last segment of the week here. And jumping right in, you see that I've basically started on building the spider emblem on him. I've got a little bit more height to him, and as well as I added more height to the spider emblem on the back. As well as I just about began building the arms on either side here. You can see a little bit more jut out on this side. And what I'm planning to do in next week's episode is kind of get a little bit more of those circles going right here. Just kind of get the template out. Not so much of the arm, but the template, and then kind of build out from there, just height, and just kind of get a much more wider span of his shoulders there. But with that being said, guys, let's move out to the outro here. Alright guys, and here we are at the end of the 7th week here. We've made quite some progress in the last 7 weeks here, starting all the way from week 1 down there, all the way up to week 7 up here. And this week, some interesting things happened. Just as the ankles broke, I had to reinforce them with some Technic lift arm structures to secure the exoskeleton and just make the model a lot more sturdier in general. Apart from that there, what we as well did was we expanded the body upwards right here. We attached both of these spider emblems on the front and back, as well as we attached both of the arms, or at least the first beginnings of the arms as well. But with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and leave a comment in the comment section down below of what do you think of this massive Lego sculpture. But with that being said, keep on building, and bye.